I always mute the wrong source. How's it going? Oh, I forgot to flippin'. I forgot to announce the Discord. Give me a second. You guys can watch me do this. I don't have an issue with that. I'm just adjusting the audio levels for myself. Let's not that camera. Isolated capture. Hello. Okay, today we're doing spring arms. I'm having some trouble. I've got some ideas on how to fix it. So like if you haven't been following along, I've been trying to make a third person template to sort of accompany the first person one. And you know, it's going okay. We've got a state machine, which is new. And we've also got a third person camera rig, which is not doing so great. And the problem is spring arms and probably my approach. So we're going to see if we can address that right now. Oh, audio is okay. Never mind. Okay, let me just fix up this issue with the Discord. I'll just let them know that I'm streaming. Like that. And go to the Discord and go to general at everybody. Discord's been really active lately, which is really cool. Really good to see. I do my best to get in there when I can, but sometimes a lot happens overnight and it's just a bit too much to catch up on. But yeah, that's awesome. While I'm here, I guess, shout out to the Discord. It's in the link in the description. So yeah. Okay, spring arms. I'll show you. I've sort of moved on. I did some stuff offline. Give me a second. I'm going to go to no chat, and it's there. And I just need to activate the YouTube source, and we should be good. So I can't hear myself. The issue we've been having is sort of like, how can we make sure it doesn't clip while also still having this sort of offset perspective? And originally, is my number pad set up? No, it's not. Originally, we sort of had the spring arm setting out to the right, but now I've moved it back to 0, 0. Actually, it's a little bit off center, and there's a parent node, and it's sort of pointing out this way, and that gives us our like offset kind of view, and it works pretty well. I'm still kind of sus, and I don't like this method, mainly because it requires you to offset the rotation. So if you rotate the spring arm out 25 degrees, yeah, you're going to get the line that goes on an angle rather than directly back, which prevents clipping essentially, because it detects the edge of the wall before the camera clips into it. Whereas if you like just straightened out this, so basically I'll show you where we were at. Basically we made this 0, and we make this also 0, and then we had this, I think it was set for like 0.8, right? Maybe not even 0.8. Yeah, something like that, where the character is sort of like off the center. Maybe not that much, it's a bit extreme, but it just depends on the game you're making, right? And if we play that now, you'll see pretty clearly what I'm doing. There's a little bit of flickering, don't worry about that. Essentially, if we like go right into this, we clip straight into the wall, which is not what we want, right? And it sort of detects it, but a little bit too late. And it's essentially because we're not inside the collision shape, right? And even if we were, like, because we're a little bit offset, we can sort of rotate around into it. It's not really what you want. So like the solution for that was to rotate the spring arm and then counter rotate the camera. Now that does work. However, I'm not a huge fan of doing it this way. And I can't say for sure, but I feel like there's some warping on the up and down, even though we are like sort of protecting that. But yeah, there's no clipping. Then the camera just slides right into the character and then the character disappears because we're inside it. So, you know, like things are working pretty well. In that case, I'm not a huge fan and I want to test out a few other options. And I've been thinking a little bit about this and how we can go about it. And I think, I was using as well, maybe I'll cut this together later. I was using you can see here, an edge detection. So essentially there's a raycast shape cast 3D that detects the edge and then moves the camera in towards the player. This works okay, but the biggest issue that we're having here is that the camera would move probably more than you'd want it to, and it didn't feel natural. And I feel like we were creating a dead zone for the player where it couldn't aim because he was like butted up against a wall, and the minute he pushed into that, then like there was issues, right? So it's not a perfect solution. The angled one does work well. The other thing we tried was 2 spring arms, one that went out to the x-axis here. But we had issues with how that would work, but I've got no idea how to fix that, because I think that could be a really good solution, because then we are detecting directly against the wall rather than doing an angle. There's no weird rotations telling people to counter rotate the camera. It's weird. I don't like it. And I sort of, yeah, so we're going to look at that essentially. So the first thing I want to try is essentially the counter, the 2 spring arm solution again, and then we'll see how we go from there. If you guys have any ideas about other ways that we could do this and make it so that spring arms work properly, I'm open to hearing them. And maybe I'm missing something, because I checked the third person template that Godot offers, and they're actually directly behind the player, except when they're aiming. But when you're aiming, you can clip the camera, not to the same degree, because it's not as far out as this. This is much more extreme than them. But you can clip the camera. And you know, the other solution as well is just make your collision shape bigger than the actual offset. That works too. But we will set up a double spring arm solution, because I think I can do it. So we have a camera node. This is what actually rotates, right? So it's not any of these. We're rotating this on the up and down. The player rotates itself. I'm going to change the view to 2 viewports. Right? I don't like that one. Go back. Top and bottom. Thank you. Okay. So the player, this is the one we rotate, is preventing like, yeah. We're finalizing that. I think I've got a good solution for it. Or at least I've got a good idea in my head. I need to test it out. I've actually already fixed it with this angle, but so basically right now the solution is the spring arm with a rotation. It's actually centered. It's actually not centered. This is offset, right? 0.3. Let's move that back to 0. So it's actually in the center, but the spring arm is rotated out 25 degrees, and then the camera is counter rotated to like cancel out that, and then that way you get up and down rotation, and the camera is where it is, right? It works because the spring arm will detect the edge fast enough, essentially, in this particular instance of. So if we go over to the edge here, we shouldn't be able to clip, and yeah, we can't. You can clip a little bit, but it's not a big deal. You know, that works perfectly fine. It's the up and down rotation that I'm a bit sus on. And I also don't like, if I'm going to turn this into education material, telling someone to rotate this 25 degrees and then counter rotate the camera, it just doesn't feel right, you know? So I've got an idea. It's more complicated, maybe? I don't know. We're about to find out. This is a fairly simple solution. And the other thing I want to know about is, like, say if you wanted to, if you wanted it to be like behind the camera and then like move out, what would that look like if you rotated both of them at the same time for the same rate? Not too sure. Anyway, so let's make another spring arm. We're going to spring arm 3D, right? And this one, we rotate that way, 90 degrees. A weird rotation on that. Quaternions. What's the rotation on this? Cancel that. Spring arm. Spring arm new node. No. Spring arm's not new. I'm just playing around with it. I just put Godot 4.3 to see how it goes with the algorithm. if you know what I'm saying. So spring arm length 1, we will go with that for now. Let's turn off edge detection. Can't see shit on this thing. I've also got ADS point, that can go as well. Okay. Wait, 90? So that'll be 90, right? And then within that, we'll put another node. So we're gonna like nest the nodes, and then within that node, we'll put our camera system. Is that little Thanos from Discord? I don't know, I can't see people's I can't see people's profile pictures. It is, nice, nice. Welcome to the stream, guys. Yo, what are we cooking today? We're making a third person camera. Well, we're finishing off the third person camera rig because I think I've solved these problems. Now, the issue we're going to have right now, if we do it now, it's going to be weird. It actually kind of works. It clips because something weird with this, eh? Where does this spring arm sit? It's supposed to be inside, but I feel like it sits on the outside. I don't know. I can't see them, right? Like even if you turn on collision shape, I wonder if you like put a node, because it feels like it's so pushed out, you know? Music's a bit loud, eh? Like it's so much further. If you look at the preview, like it's supposed to look like that. But it definitely doesn't, because you would think that this node here pushes out X1, right? Well, that's not the right direction. It's Z for this. What kind of rotation have I got going on here? Some weird offset was doing stuff. Yeah. It gets weird with this. And oh, I've still got the rotation on this, so I should like cancel this rotation. Except for, and then cancel this rotation. I was doing weird stuff with the rotation just before. And now, this particular one, we rotate back 90 degrees. I guess this is still the same option. You're like counter rotating things. Like, is it really any different? It should look like that. Let's have a look. It looks right to me. It still clips a little. In fact, it clips a lot, so it's not actually any better, to be honest. Works okay. Just straight out. Just let you like go straight into it. I would say the issue is because of the collision shape, we're still able, because like the spring arms, okay, you can't see where I'm pointing. I keep forgetting. The spring arm's only going to this point here on the character, right? Okay. So that is what I wanted to test. It works okay, but it's not perfect. And the only way to fix that would be there isn't really a way to fix that at the end of the day. And to be honest, it's kind of the same thing as what I was saying before with extra steps, where like you can just, the thing is, I feel like it looks different. And maybe you guys can give me some advice on this, because like I feel like this, as far as like rotation goes, looks pretty normal. Up and down, looks okay. But if I go back to how I had it before, I don't know if I have enough undos to do it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, it looks like I do. Okay, so the way it was before was the spring arm is in the center, but it's got a 25-degree angle, and then that's offset, the camera is offset as well. And so you still end up with this look, but I feel like this looks weird, right? Like there's some warping going on. For sure looks different. But you don't get any clipping. Like it works 100%. I don't know. Can I run that back? I need to run them side by side. I need to have both on them, and then I can press a button to switch between the two. They'd never be the same anyway, because I wouldn't be able to... I think the camera rotation doesn't go the same as the spring arm rotation with the up and down. Yeah, I mean, I'm rotating a different node. Like, the spring arm doesn't rotate. It's the camera. It's like this parent level node. So theoretically, like, it should just go... Like, if I do this, preview, like, it should just be up and down like this. Whereas I think the other one was like, maybe it was a height difference. There's also like weird rotations on this. It's because I keep rotating it. And that's only there, like the Z is only there to like help me visualize where it should be. It does feel like it's like sort of looking inwards. It's not right. There's something really weird with this. 100%. Like, so is there do I need to reset something in the code? Because I'm sort of like doing that, right? The inwards may be good, but lets you see what's in front of the character. Yeah. Can you, instead of 25, do 22.5 to hit perfect 45? Yeah, good idea. Good idea. That's a really good point, actually. It probably is just like, should be 45 div 2, which gives us that. I like how you can do math. Can it be like a float? Yeah, it can. Okay. So when you do the math, it doesn't do. That's so weird. And then this needs to be 22.5. That's a really good point. That's probably what it is, right? I'm not really sure how you, like the lines look straight, but like, I don't know. Theoretically, it wouldn't matter because we are still just pointed straight. Like it looks fine there. It's just when I rotate, I feel like it's facing inwards, but I could be wrong. Like how different really is it from like the system we had before? Can I go forward? I don't think I can. I need like 2 versions of the project open at the same time so I can make it. I guess if I could make 2 versions of the camera and then I press a button to switch between them, you think that would work? The issue that I will have, oh, what the heck's going on there? Is your camera supposed to be rotated? Its position looks straight when the parent rotation is 0. Yeah. Yes. So it looks straight there and it's got a rotation and a counter rotation. Oh, it's not exactly the same. Why you do that to me? 22.5? 2.5. I'm sus on that. That looks off. I don't like it at all. Right. So I actually have third idea, more scripting, basically, because we can just say like after the other spring arm that we have gets to a certain point, just bring it all the way into the center. And then that way we'll be able to like move inwards far enough, fast enough, all that kind of stuff. So we can work with that. And then like, I just feel like it's wrong. I'm going to duplicate. Can I duplicate? The script will probably break. I need to move this script up to the parent I think that's the first thing that I want to do, because like right now it's kind of hard to test things out when the original was like down here. So I'm going to have to do some refactoring. Camera system, it's not going to be happy because the parent should be a node. And basically every single point where I'm calling like spring length, I need to get the child. So I have the parent node as like a variable, which was basically so I could get around some of this stuff. So I'm just going to change that to the spring arm. And it'll be a spring arm. And then I'm just going to go down the list and find all the things. So this is spring length dot spring arm dot spring length. All right. I think scripting is the way to go, probably between messing around with spring arms. It feels a lot, but never feels like I get a good camera arm feeling. Yeah, at the end of the day. It's like good for a quick fix, but it's not 100%. Like you can rely on it to do the raycasting part easily. Like the raycasting part is fine, but like then getting it to do what you want it to do in a certain moment is probably what we need to worry about. So spring arm, basis. Actually, we need to take this out. So anytime it says parent node, we just need to like go that, because that's what we actually want to rotate. Is that it? I've commented out everything else, right? Someone's gonna get banned. Okay. Let's just make sure that works. And we've got a couple of issues. Invalid access on base type. Now, all the export variables are broken because I changed the script. That's okay. Character is character. Character collider is that. Edge detection is edge detection. Not even used anymore. Camera is that. Spring arm is that. Okay, awesome. Okay, we're back to where we were at. Okay. So we got the one spring arm, and now we just need a second. And we'll do it with two. You can do it with raycasts. I mean, we were doing it with raycasts, essentially. But I won't have to poll them for detection if I use a spring arm. But I will need to check if it gets to a certain amount, I guess. Visibility change. They don't have any signals on this thing. So yeah. I guess I still need to use the process function for the second spring arm. Okay, so... Oh, I do want to have like a main camera and a second... Oh, yes. Let's duplicate it. Just go test. Camera. And then this one will just disable. And this one will make current. And we'll need two versions of this script as well to behave differently. Does camera allow you to go downwards indefinitely to see if the camera goes way off? It doesn't. Do you reckon that's a good idea? Well, let's see what happens if like the quaternions get all fucked up. I think it's just a little bit of warping because of the rotation. Like, it could also potentially be like the way that I'm rotating the camera. Where's that function? Camera look. I'm doing rotate object local. So, I don't know. Could be the wrong thing to use. Maybe I need to try it. People don't tend to use this method, even though it's the one in the documentation. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I also need to reset the basis of the spring arm. Like, maybe that's what I need to do. Yeah. Okay, well, let's try that. Let's just remove the clamping and go wild with it. Let's get crazy. Still looks pretty good, to be honest. We're going for a ride. Right. Hang on a second. I'm just going to take this off screen because it just feels like kind of crazy to... Oh, my escape key is not working. Why is it not working? It looks good, yeah. It's not... There's something... What was I going to try? I was going to try spring arm. I was trying to reset the basis of the spring arm. That transform. I actually think this is going to make things worse because it'll... transform and... Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, you can't even just like... Did I just spell that wrong? Is that the issue? Yes. Oh yeah, now it's messed up. Look at that. Blech. Every time it rotates, it like... It stays where it is, basically. So that's not a good... That's not what we want to do. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That was a bit much, eh? Print spring arm dot rotation. I mean, it's staying the same. It's not changing. It's not. There's nothing weird there. I don't know. It just feels wrong to me. Just something about it seems off, and that I can't put my finger on. Is it in my head? I don't know. Let's bring the clamp back. I've got 2 cameras, and that is causing the with the same script. I need to save this script as camera system test. We're just experimenting, essentially. That's all I'm doing tonight. Just gonna see what I can come up with because, or basically I want to see if this is in my head or not. Essentially. I'm just gonna take that out of the test. You guys ever notice that if you save a script as, it changes it for both scripts? It's so weird. There we go. And that should default camera VO. Everything's dropped off it, right? Edge detection, camera. Oh, there's 2 of them. Spring arm. Cameras, they're all the same. Have I chosen the right ones? Yeah, I have. It saves. As it saves, it changes on both scripts. Yeah, it's super annoying. It's like, why? Who wants that? There's only 1 edge detection. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now I can actually escape out. Okay, cool. Okay, so the camera system test. Now, what I want to do is essentially just basically set up what I had before, so we can switch between them. Am I using the same script? Not anymore. I'm changing the script, so I have 2 cameras on this player, and one we're going to switch between which one is active or not, essentially. And because I'm convinced it like behaves differently, but I could be wrong. I can only see by doing it myself, essentially. Let's just turn off the visibility on that one. And what did I do? I made a spring arm, right, and then I rotated it 90 degrees. Right, 95, 90. And then I added a node to that and dropped this one in it. And instead of having it rotated 67 or whatever, just reset all these rotations. Transform rotation, rotate this by 90. So this is facing forward again. When you create a new script, you can create a built-in script that only is saved onto the node itself. That's what you want. Oh, okay, yeah, that is what I want. I'll have to keep an eye out for that next time. Okay. And that really shouldn't change anything. Honestly, they're the same. They're the same. I'm just in my head too much about this. You know what I'm saying? This does look better though. So that it like actually pushes up against the wall rather than getting closer to the character. Edge. Spring arm. Because it does the smoothing so well. Like, I just can't get it that good. And so what I want to do in the process is just go... let's just get access to that edge spring arm. Just go if edge... Oh no, but there's no way... Hang on a second. I've done this before where I thought I could use that spring length to actually detect it. The maximum this is used as a length for both the ray and the shapecast. Use internally to calculate the desired. To know more about to perform a shapecast or raycast, you can go add exclude, clear exclude, get hit length. Oh, here we go. That's what I want. Pays to read the docs. Okay, so we can say if get hit length. Oh, we want edge spring arm, right? Dot get hit length is less than point. What do we think? I think it's going to be like 0.8, something like that. Then edge spring arm dot probably set length, right? I can't spell length. L-A-N-G-T-H. And it wants a float of 0. And then we say else set length. I believe it's set to 1. All right. Let's see what happens. it snaps like, and then it's not even going to work properly because like it doesn't detect anything anymore, right? Like it's like nice idea because get hit length is just going to disappear, right? Bit silly, isn't it? I don't know why I thought that would work. It just snaps back into 0, and then it's 0 because obviously, you know, there's nothing for it to hit against. So, and also like, obviously it's very jerky. You don't like that. It's not good. Wonder if there's another way that we can manipulate it. I guess we can move the physical. Spring length. Shape. Margin. When the collision check is made, yada yada, collision mask. Yeah. I guess it kind of works, but not really. I need to work on exactly how I'm going to set the, like, put some easing on that. It's definitely a lot more, it's briefer than the other temps, right? Like that works pretty well, but we need easing and good lord. We need some other stuff. I'm trying to work out like what's a good threshold. Like doesn't ever work because you never get below that. 0.6 is what it would be because obviously that's the length of that's the size of the collision shape. So that makes sense. Do we just move it? Like, do we just like move the actual spring arm inwards? It's probably easier. You know what I'm saying? When it gets to a certain point, you just tween it inwards. It feels pretty good otherwise. Like, that feels, I mean, there's a weird jerking. Otherwise, that feels really nice. And then when it gets to a certain point, maybe even like flip it. I don't know how we do that, but like, the problem is this is not the best way to do it. Set length 0. Like that doesn't work. It's gross. So this would need to be like character. Actually, I have that number somewhere, don't I? Camera offset. Edge detection shape dot radius. No. I thought I was going to sneeze, but I didn't. Anyway. Character to character. I don't think I have it anymore. I used to have like a character, basically, this is horrible to look at, character shape dot radius. Obviously you got to assume that the character has a radius. Character shape has a radius. Because it might not. It doesn't. Invalid access to key on shape on object. Oh, really? What? What is character? Character body 3D, right? Collision shape? Character collider, maybe. That's probably it. Where'd I go? Wrong one. And then watch this snap in once it gets to 0.6, which it does. And then it snaps in. We just need some easing. Like whatever that would be. So the question is then, what do we do here? Because obviously setting the length is not right. And then I guess you could have like a separate raycast to test this, but then that's not really going to like help you, right? Like it's just not the set length. We can tween that. What would that look like? I bet you it's really gross to look at. That's about all I can say. So the other thing is to tween the entire thing. What are we working with here? Oh, and the other thing I was going to do is set up some switching between the two cameras. Hey, Bluetooth Bird, welcome to the stream. How are ya? The other thing I want to look at is, okay, so let's just hide that for a second. The test camera. Oh. I want to, okay, hide this one. How can I never see anything? Oh yeah, that goes out that way. So I guess we put it over here. It's 2 and then 1, right? The camera actually sits there. Edge springer. 1, yes. So they're a little bit off as far as their positioning goes. They're not quite the same. I'm trying to replicate their positions. I'm not going to be able to. My screen's too small. Good times. What I can do is go top down for both of them. I won't be able to manipulate anything, but it's not quite right. A little bit different. Looks very similar. So the rotation, it's probably easier to do the other one, right? This one here. This one has an offset of, so let's make it probably, this is probably really bad to look at because it's like really tiny. Really big. Let's go with 0.75. That's pretty good. 1.8. Not quite the same. Maybe we'll just have to like have them perfectly overlap, and these are the numbers, copy values. And so what I want to do is essentially the X value is what I want to put the spring arm length for that one, 0.757. And for this one here, 1.826, rather than trying to think about like what the right rotation is, who cares? Let's just do it the janky way. Okay, so now if I do like preview on both of them, they should be pretty much identical. Like you can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference. Let's just make them. They look exactly the same to me. Okay, but this is the camera that's main. I gotta rotate the camera back. So let's see. Behaving strangely, but yeah. Let's just comment out this. This will work. I just need to work on there. How to ease it best. Pass. And now, okay, so let's set up a way to switch between the two cameras. Because they should be in the same place physically. So we're just gonna camera switch. And I'll set that up as tab. And in the player, because it's probably the easiest place for it, I'm just going to get access to both cameras. It's kind of hard to understand which one's which, so I'm going to call this 1 and call this one 2. So that I can sort of differentiate between them. I really hate, yeah, Mickey, I hate that you can't see them in the editor. Oh, you can't like, what is it? If you turn on debug, visible collision shapes, they're not there. It's so annoying. It's very frustrating to work with, hard to know and make them work properly. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so let's get the input. Let's switch between these two because I think there's a difference between them, but I could be wrong. And if there isn't a difference between them, there's not really any reason to do the more complicated version, right? At the end of the day, like, let's just stick with the simple things. Goose Fat, welcome to the stream. How are ya? Okay, so if I also need to be like var current camera, right? Goose Gun, current camera. I got an idea for Goose Gun. Current camera is a camera 3D. Right. So we go if input if event dot is action pressed. I still haven't played your game, Goose. I'm doing okay. If action pressed is camera switch. Yeah, just change cameras. I can't think of it like if current camera dot is equal to camera 3D1, then current camera equals camera 3D2. Else camera equals camera 3D1, right? Like whatever. I'm poop. Yeah, I am poop. And then current camera dot set current. What's the function for that? Current equals true. Okay, that works. Dude, they're the same. Like, obviously there's a bit of a pop because like they're not quite in the same location, but they're the same. Like, there's no point in doing all this. I think like, you know, it's not the best behavior, but it's not the worst. Like, what? Okay, so like if you get close to a wall, the camera's gonna like push up against it, but it's not gonna do anything else. Like, whatever, man. You know? It is what it is. Like, just reinventing the wheel. Yeah, like I think what I really needed to do was like see for myself that there wasn't any warping because of the rotation. I feel like there is. I can't just not unsee it, but like at the end of the day, like if I'm doing it the way that I would expect it to be done and there isn't any like weirdo warping, then it is what it is, man. It's like, and there's no clipping, and that's exactly what we want. I guess the only question is like how well, so like let's just say the test camera is like out, right? How will people react if I say like I think the best way to do this is like rotate the camera 22.5 degrees and then rotate the spring arm by 22.5 degrees and then rotate the camera. Like, is that weird? Is it a weird thing to say to tell people to do? Like, I don't know. Like, is this a good solution? It works. I don't know. Like, the things you have to think about, eh? But who knows? I could be overthinking it, as you do when you're trying to make a template or anything like this. I do plan to use this. I think it would be cool to have a thing where you could switch between the two. And state machines. Why 22.5? So yeah, okay. Just realign the camera with the spring arm offset. It sounds fine to me, yeah. Camera system, the tween property spring length does not exist. It's like real mad. There's a bunch of stuff that just doesn't work anymore. Enter ADS, spring arm length. Self, of course, yeah. Yeah. Right. Let's fix up some of this stuff. Actually, the spring length. So let's say we're going with this. I'm going to delete a bunch of stuff. The camera alignment. This is still needed because if we would get too close to the body, we want to hide the body. Maybe come back. Yeah, 22.5 plus 22.5 is 45. That's exactly why, right? I'm sure it's been considered planned act, but future setting, left, right, handedness, the camera position. Yeah, well, that's the other thing I wanted to observe because that will be like something people want to do. Like, I want to change the camera. Yeah, it was like, I think though having a number like that for the offset is probably a good idea rather than 25 degrees, something more sensible. Like 22.5 divisible by 90, I don't know. What is it? 90 divided by 4 or something like that? I don't freaking know, man. I told you guys I'm bad at math. Don't make me do it. That's why I'm in finance. We get to use calculators. Calculators and some other people's spreadsheets. Yeah, it's 90 divided by 4. Yeah, I think that way makes sense. The streamer became schizo over camera, so we made a perfect 45 degrees so it looks smoother. Yeah. Literally, that's the best way to describe it. I'm just losing my mind over here about like, does it look weird? Dunno, bro. Okay, let's delete this and just remove the... A little bit of Kobe right here. Yeah, definitely no difference there. Okay, so that one thing I want to try is flipping the rotation. If we wanted to say like, maybe, because like that's a thing people want to do. They flip the camera from like right hand to left hand. I feel like I've seen that in some games before. So let's see what that looks like. Print camera offset. There's a bunch of stuff in here we also don't need, so I need to clean up this script. It's good because it's going to get, I want to keep that for left align and right align. It's going to get a little bit simpler because I'm not using any of this stuff here. Align camera is a function I'm no longer using, but, I'm going to want it. We're going to change it though. Enter ADS. Let's delete all of this. Changing, yeah, right hand to left hand shoulder. That's a normal thing that people want to try and do. Okay, so move camera away from wall. I no longer need that function. Camera look is good. ADS is not good because this needs to be the spring arm, spring length, and it needs to be like way shorter. And also, I believe the ADS zoom speed, FOV, edge detection, we no longer need that. Camera and spring arm is needed, so we can delete that variable, which means, what was that variable? Camera offset, we don't need that anymore. Should probably just comment these out rather than actually deleting them. Can't you just change the offset of the camera angle and the spring arm offset from positive to negative and add a tween? Yes, that is actually exactly what I'm going to do. I just want to see what it looks like. It probably looks fine. We're doing it at the same time. You literally just flip the negative and positive. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm going to keep this. I've got like an enum here. And we can just like go from there. Edge detection tween. Don't need it. We'll get a new tween. ADS tween, we do. Default FOV, we do. Mouse sensitivity, yep, that's fine. Camera rotation. Is that necessary? What do I use that for? Aside from this. Yeah, it's very necessary. Bring it back. Starting spring arm length. Yes, I do need that. Camera start point. What's that used for? If it's just in the ready function, we can get rid of it. Yeah, so that's one. That's out. ADS start point. What about that? Okay. Not being used anywhere, so safe to just decide. ADS is ADS. I actually want to change this to aiming because it just makes more sense. So, like as a variable name. And rename all these functions because, like, yeah, ADS is not really what we're doing. We're aiming. ADSing. Let's do that. Get aiming. Where's that function being called? Is that function being used at all? This function isn't being used. Okay. Do we need it? Probably not. ADSing. Yeah, I'm just great with variable names, guys. Aiming. Tween. Replace all of these. I could probably control F, but, or, you know, I'm just doing it this way for some reason. You know, like, you get not even halfway through, you just start doing something, you're like, there's a faster way to do this. Why am I doing this? and then you're just done. Doesn't matter anymore. Okay, yep. Enter ADS is the function. Enter aiming, exit aiming. It's like, they don't exist, but they do now. Should have done it the other way around. Okay, and then I just wanted to rename the input from ADS to aiming to aim, right? Okay, refactored, happy days. Make sure it's working still. It is? Wow, we are seeing a lot of blue there. So stupid. So, the spring arm. So let me just delete some of these variables that we don't need anymore. Keep those two. The reason that we're seeing that is, number one, because we're on an angle now, the amount that we actually want to zoom. So there's two variables, which is the FOV change, and I'm going to rename these variables. Actually, I just realized that. God damn it. Aim speed, aim zoom. So, and the FAV, we're basically doing both, which means we get closer to the player. Am I good with using shaders? No, not really. I've done a few, but not many. Unity game link. Did you post it in the... I might play it at the end, Goose, if you want me to. Oh, you put it there, clips. Someone was saying that your link was bad. Like, where was it? Promote yourself. Haven't clicked it yet. Can't believe you tried to do that to me. And I don't know what it is, and I'm scared to click it on stream. Anyway. ADS. Am I good with shaders? I'm okay. I tend to take them a lot. That's ADS zoom. I want ADS F. This one here. So, starting spring up. Obvious problems here. What's wrong with this? ADS. The naming convention for this is not right. This is like a spring length. So like aim spring length is probably better, right? H then sleep. Because that just makes more sense as to what it is. And so this doesn't need to be what it is anymore. If the spring length is 2, we probably really just need to bring it down to like 1. Probably, right? It's still very extreme. Like, I don't know if it needs to be that much. That's a lot of zoom, and we're getting very close to the player. We do want to be closer because we want to be close as possible to where the weapon is, but not that close. By the way, off topic, are those songs yeah. So those songs were written by me. I need to put them up on a download link. There is one on itch, but it's not like a good one because they are royalty free, obviously, and they won't be detected by any copyright because I have not uploaded them anywhere. There are versions of these with like that are like you can find. Like a very long time ago, I wrote an album and put it on Spotify. And these are essentially like, they're stripped back versions of that music without like singing behind them because I'm not a good singer. You wouldn't want that anyway. You don't want to hear that song. You don't want to hear that music. But I sort of did that because I needed like some music to play, and it's just easier than trying to find like regular music. So where is it? I think it's like Godot 3 base game template. And the music, composed music for my game. Yeah, I could. I'm like, the thing is, like, it's been a really long time since I've made any music. It takes a really long time to write music. And it's just not that, like, I don't even have a game to make music for. I could make game music. So yeah, if you want that music for your own stuff, you can use it there. It's CC0. So it's in this pack. Just similar stuff, yeah. Because it's just, yeah, I originally was using like some other CC0 stuff, but like, it's just, the thing is I don't have enough. I need to like go through the archives and like find some more music. So if I go to all, I've got like a big folder of like stuff that I could just play. Where is it called? Music written. It goes back so long. This is like 2017. It's so old. Reaper projects. Oh, so much stuff, eh? To be honest, it's not really that much. Now that I think about it, is there really that much? How many? 45. 45 songs over 2 years. I went a bit crazy in 2016. In 2016, I sort of like, I had like a quarter life crisis and I started writing like tons of music. 617, there was a bunch of stuff here as well. Yeah, I probably need to go through and figure out like what's good. Because I feel like One Night Stand, it sounds like a bad track name, but like, I don't want to play that one. I think I am like singing in that. We don't want that. But like, there's a version of that where the instrumentals are pretty good. Alternative? I'm kind of scared. I want to click it, but I don't want to expose you to my bad singing. I was meant to be working with somebody, but we never had time. And so like I would just fill in the vocals for myself. Hang on a second. Risky click of the day. Automatically 2-track mining after music scrapping with AI is something I'm kidding. Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like AI to fill in the vocals is, I think, a cool one, especially if you're not like vocally talented and you just want to like, you want to make music and potentially maybe work with someone later on down the line. But like, yeah. Use autotune. Yeah, listen, I'm so bad that autotune doesn't fix it. This is very like, I didn't have any like good VSTs at the time. It's not that bad. The drums are really, I don't like the synthetic drums. That's it. For music, for Twitch, it's possible to set your music to its own source in OBS so the music gets muted for VODs to avoid DCMA. Yeah, it's something that I need to look into because getting copyright claimed is really annoying. It's not so bad on Twitch. I don't care about Twitch that much, but YouTube, it's like way worse because if the stream gets into the Argo and it gets claimed, complex times, I think I'm just bad at guitar. I don't think the time signature was intentional. I remember when me and my friend first wrote this song in 2011, so it's really old. We weren't doing it with a metronome or anything like that. Oh, I did not possess the technology or the know-how. You need to click the button mid-row. I don't understand what you're saying, Goosey. So I think it was just a mistake. But if I had one with his vocals, I would actually play it because he's actually a good singer. And this, I was really into the idea of, sorry, this is like weird way off track. I'm just like, here's my old music. I was really into the idea of like using the guitar as like percussion. YouTube is like, you listen to music, Shadow Band, yeah. And so like, I sampled the clicks and stuff of the guitar to turn it into percussion. This sounds way better than the synthetic. But the high pitch, I think the high pitch like sound is like me slapping on the leg of the table. I wonder what the chorus sounds like. I haven't listened to this song in years. Oh, not good mixing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not bad. If I was going to do this again today, I think I would keep it fully acoustic. And like, yeah, it's way too high in the mix. I don't know. I'm not a very good mix engineer. But actually, yeah, I like it. I should send this to my friend. And be like, come sing for me. I'm vibing. It gets repetitive after that. You're free. Except for the lyrics for that were like, yeah, into 4/4. Yeah. Oh, you know that stuff? I don't see. That thing is like, I'm not educated on that. So it was like, that's an awkward transition. You're better at math than you think. Yeah. Intuit. You just intuit it. You do it long enough, I guess you kind of know about it. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I think we had a really hard time like actually putting the track down on the recording system, if that makes sense. Because we wrote it analog. That was before the time when this stuff. It's crazy how much more accessible. Like, it's actually insane how accessible things have become over the last 15 years. Like, even game engines, like 2010, like the idea of getting access to a game engine and being able to do any of this stuff is like insane. Like, when did Unity become free? When did Unity become free? In 86. Oh yeah. Unity free. Like history. Am I going to be able to find it on the Wikipedia? 2005, aiming to democratize, whatever. Best use, Unity 2, approximately 15 years. So I guess was it always free? You guys probably can't see that because I'm not. So it was always free. $2.6 and now free, I guess 2009, right? Like, yeah, it is sort of in that time zone, like 2009, 2010. Like, game engines start becoming free. Like, when I was in high school, it was really hard to find. I pirated RPG Maker, like music software, all that kind of stuff. Ask ChatGPT, yeah. Is it normal to hire singers online? It's a thing to hire voiceovers for videos. I mean, you could do that, but like, I feel if you were trying to like sell your music in like a package format, like to put it on Spotify for people to listen to, you'd probably want the same person every time. So it's better to have a relationship with them, and you kind of want to, like, I'd want to direct them. I'm a bit of a control freak. I'd want to tell them what to do. All that kind of stuff. Okay, so yeah, 2009 that came free, and then like when we were doing that in 2011, you could get stuff, but it was not that great. And now you can just download Reaper for free, and it's like easy as to make music. It's so crazy that you can do all of this stuff just on the cheap. Anyway, after a distraction like that, let's see what we can do with this spring arm. ADS speed. Okay, so Alphen, you were like asking me about the FOV and the spring length, and we are doing both. after hearing what they do and then try to work out something. Yeah, I think just Craigslist or what do we have here, Gumtree, Facebook Marketplace, like actually find someone in real life that you can work with. That would be my approach, but I guess like online is fine these days as well. Yes, like there's no reason we can't. Do re-records of all my old music and see if I can actually, I don't know. I don't think anyone, music is so much harder to market yourself, like compared to other things. It's actually impossible. Okay, so that's right. We're doing alignment, left and right alignment. I don't know if we want center, but whatever. Let's go with that. And we've got the tab key. We'll keep that for now. Unexpected indent. Hello? What indent are you talking about? Oh, it was indented. Yeah, okay, it's better now. Right. Let's remove some of this stuff. We know we don't need it. Camera rotation. What are we using this for? Oh, yeah. I'm still sus on this variable. Nothing. I mean, see, I don't know, because I dropped out of that world in like 2018. I stopped trying to, like, even when I was like fully obsessed in like 2016, 2017, and just like writing music all the time, I was not like communicating with people or like involved in any communities or anything like that. So like, I don't know. I was just in my room, fully obsessed with the fact that if I didn't write an album, then when I died, no one would remember me. Like crazy mental health things going on there. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna do input for now, but I guess we've got a function. We've got a align camera function here, and we really just want to change the spring. Can the spring? Yeah, rotation just needs to go. It needs to flip, and same with the camera 3D. So that's really all we need to do for this. Very curious about what this is going to look like. New tween, that's fine. Self, not self. We want camera. If you're not like in a band, just making rhythm by yourself, if the thought of it comes up to hire somebody, I think it's not a bad idea, honestly. These days. The internet is full of places where people want to do stuff for work. I'd be a bit concerned about the cost. We don't want to tween the position. We want to change the rotation. And is it X? What rotation are we rotating? Of all sentences, it's Y. But I'm concerned about the cost of everything. Like, I mean, I want to, like, I would hire someone to do voiceovers and stuff for projects, but like, it's expensive. POZ float. It takes a float. Yeah, that's fine. We can use that. It's not going to be a POS. It's going to be a ROT. And 0.2. And okay, so we're doing the camera and we want to do the spring arm as well. Hey, good morning. It is afternoon. Afternoon. A lot of folks in service jobs like waitstaff are really passionate performers and singers. I've met great musicians in that way because you can sense the chemistry if there is any. Yeah, you gotta meet. I don't know, like it's something weird with music where it feels like it needs to be in person. I could be totally wrong. I've never worked with someone online. Like it's a very intimate thing. Maybe just me. Rot. I guess one of them needs to be inverse of the other. Game, Goosey. I'm going to look at it at the end of the stream. When I was a bartender, I also wanted to be a rapper. Yeah, I guess that's the same thing, right? Like it is all just music at the same time. Like one's spoken, one's singing. Yeah, I guess I just invert them. One needs to be the opposite of the other. Yeah, that'll work. All right. All right. So we've got the align camera. We've got the enum. Let's create a function called set alignment. Set camera alignment, I should say. That's fine. Doesn't need to take anything. Void. Do I have a current alignment? Yeah, okay, so current alignment. So let's just go, actually I'm a bit sus on that line, keep it there for a second. Current alignment equals right line. And so we say set camera alignment. So we want to flip it. I guess you could just do it with a positive one and a negative one. Like, you can set the values of the alignments, right? Of these enums. You could make it equals left align equals 1, right align equals -1. Right? Center alignment equals 0. That works, right? I don't know how enums are. Something like that. What's the, so this is positive. This is camera system right here. It's got a Y positive. So left align is positive and then right align is negative. Is that, I've got my left and rights default up in order. Okay. I feel like you could set the values of them though. But you can set the values. Yeah, okay, cool. Now let me just make sure that my right and lefts are. So this is right. So right is positive, just as they intended it to be. So left needs to be negative. How interesting. So then I can just pass in the alignment and I can say if set current alignment to be the opposite of like the, you can just multiply it by -1, but then that's kind of like, it defeats the point. So I can just go like, if current alignment is equal to right align, I feel like there's a better way to do this. Then current alignment equal to left align, else current alignment equals right align. And then like var new rotation, something like that. I'll come and refactor this later as a float is equal to spring arm dot rotation dot y multiplied by current alignment that won't work. Because if we set it to left align and we multiply it by negative, and then we want to set it back to right align, we'll multiply it by positive, it'll still be negative. We can just flip it. Like we could just go like -1. Like it just flips. Just -1. If it was a Boolean, it would work. Wouldn't it? I don't know. I'm trying to think a second if there's a better way of doing it. I'm sure there is. I need to like cook on it for a second. Let's just do it like this. Whatever. Just invert it. Multiply it by -1. And then align the camera. The new rotation. New tween. Got set parallel to true. That's pretty slow, but I guess we'll see how it looks. And then essentially, I just want to set camera alignment in the input. So I can say if event dot is action pressed. Camera switch. Set camera alignment. Right? Oh, I rotated the wrong way. Hang on a second. Well, that was weird. Doesn't know where that is. It doesn't know where this is. We don't even need any of these variables. Get them out of here. Huh. Did I rotate the wrong axis? What the heck? I think I did, right? Like this is... Give me this. Bring on 22. It'd be negative 22.5. And then this would be 22.5. Yeah, it should have gone like that, right? Interesting. Rotation Y. Am I rotating the wrong objects? Oh, I rotated the position. I'm an idiot. It doesn't do anything. Why not? Bring on rotation. Is any one of these that I'm rotating at the current? I am rotating default FOV. Am I rotating this? Is this bad? I am rotating. I'm not rotating the camera. Why would I be? That would be crazy. So I should be able to do this. Why would it not work? Is it because they're inverted? I might have these around the wrong way. This should be negative and this should be positive. Yes. That actually doesn't look too bad. I was a bit worried about that, but that looks good. Can we clip? We can't clip. And then you can just switch them if you really wanted to. Like, there's a bit of weirdness. We clip for a second. I guess you can move the spring arm at a faster rate than the camera, right? I guess, is that a solution? I don't know. I think it would look weird. You reckon it looks weird? You ever go so far in learning the engine that you look back at more simple stuff you tried earlier and realize how easy it is? Yeah, for sure. That's even worse. Don't do that. I think that looks like you're not going to press this all the time. This is going to be something that happens in the settings. The reason it looks weird is because it moves away from the player as it does it, because we're rotating the spring arm at the same time. I think There is a bit of weirdness as well if you're against a wall and then you decided to flip. There's a clipping. There's a moment where it clips through the walls. I think you should go straight from one position to the new position, but the camera goes around with the rotation. I don't really understand what you mean by that. Like, do we mean to make the spring arm go really quick? That's definitely not what we want to do. Let's just make it like super fast. So it's like instant. I don't know. It would be something in the settings, right? Like this isn't something where you, where it's like a button you can press. When you change it, when you change positions, it tweens with the rotation instead of lerping from one position to the next. Yes. Because the rotation is what controls it. I wonder if there's a way that you could get around that. You'd need to offset the position in between. It's like, that's the issue, right? Because I am using the rotation to get this offset, I have to use the rotation. So I guess you could tween the spring arm length to keep it level. I don't know. It's a lot. Probably just not worth worrying about. Like I said, I don't think that's something people are going to press. That's like a setting, right? Third person shooter. Arches from right to left, shoulder instead of a straight line. Looks odd to me. No, I think you're right. It does look kind of weird, but I'm also trying to work out if this, because this isn't like something we're going to be pressing every time, like all the time. It's more a setting. I don't know. Third person switch shoulders setting. You can switch to third person move while moving. Modern Warfare. Third person needs a dedicated shoulder button. Shoulder swap button. People want it. This is Modern Warfare. I didn't even know Modern Warfare had a third person mode. That isn't L3 feels awkward. Modern War. I've never played Modern Warfare. My Modern Warfare 2. I think I played the first one back in 2007. There's a third person mode in Modern Warfare 2? Is it the... Sorry, I'm going down a... Warfare 2 third person mode. I want to see what this looks like. Call of Duty Modern... Playlist... A regular multiplayer mode, but with over the shoulder view. What the heck?
So what is going on, everybody? So today what we're going to be doing is showing you guys...
Dude, that is like the classic YouTuber gamer intro. What is going on, everybody?
So what is going on, everybody? So today what we're going to be doing is showing you guys how
this guy
to
probably
play
invented
third
it.
person, and then also some settings I highly recommend you change.
Oh yeah, subscribe, like and subscribe, guys.
Changing if you guys enjoy third person. Now, I will tell you guys right off the bat, I've been getting this
The
question
Last
a
of
lot,
Us.
and that's the
I should
reason
download.
why
I've got a
decided to
copy of
make this
that.
video. A lot of people don't understand.
Wow,
that
he
if you
talks a
wanna play
lot
third
before
person,
he
it
actually
might
shows
not
us
be
this.
on the main menu.
I want
right?
to see it.
'Cause
Gimme.
when you are playing multiplayer, I highly recommend jumping to 90. I went to 90. I love it. I feel like it helps. You can see more to your left, to your right. But obviously, third person field of view is something that I think a lot of you guys should mess with. I have mine maxed out, but you don't have to go to 90, but highly recommend
It looks
you guys
good, eh?
messing with that. Another thing I will tell you guys is right here where it says third person camera movement. You guys can adjust this to 75%, 50%, really up to you. I'll let you
ADS
guys
transition.
adjust that, see how you like it. I have mine on default, but this is something I recommend you guys playing with. Now,
Interesting.
what it does is it adjusts the intensity of the camera shake movement when playing in third.
This is good though to see this, because this is something I need to think about in terms of like creating settings. So third person ADS transition helmet camera. I don't know what that means.
Person.
Actually,
So,
maybe not.
Like, you know, when your camera is shaking a lot, if you guys get any kind of motion sickness, this could definitely help you out. And then this right here is a really key one that I highly recommend you guys definitely looking into: third person ADS transition. So I'll show you some gameplay right now. Currently mine is on third person ADS, and let's take a look at the gameplay. You can see right here, it goes from third person to third person. That is how this clip is, right? Like, the only time I go into first person ADS is if I have a 4x scope or higher. But in Modern Warfare 2, you can put almost
it just zooms the
everything,
camera,
including your snipers, without a scope, so you never have to really scope in. Now, what if you wanted to scope in all the time, right? If you always want to go from third person, when you ADS, aim down those sights, you hold the left trigger. If you're on controller, you will go to first person, as you guys have seen in this gameplay. And this is what was in the beta. Now, if you want that, when you want to make sure, if you want to have this view right here,
it doesn't have timestamps. I don't put timestamps in my videos either.
You want to make sure you go to the
Probably
settings,
should.
and in the settings, you want to put first person ADS. So you need to make sure you click that. So that is something I know a lot of people, I think those are the top questions I get is field of view. What is your field of view? It's at 90. That's something you should change. What is your third person ADS transition? And how do I aim down sights in first person? Because I missed that, right?
Yeah, when are we gonna get like the VR goggles with the drone behind us so we can live our life like third person view? Be so much better.
So they gave the option in third person only for you to choose if you want to go
Be able to
aim
see
down
so
the
much
sights
more.
in first person, or if you want to be
No
in
one's
third
gonna
person.
sneak up behind you.
Ideally, I just showed you two different views in first
Yeah, it's
person,
really well
or
done.
If you want to be in third person, change what is your third person ADS transition, and how do I aim down sights in first person? Because I missed that, right? So they gave the option in third person only for you to choose if
That's AAA, baby.
you want to go aim down the sights in first person, or if you want to be in third person. Ideally, I just showed you two different views. A lot more hip fire in third person when you use that first, because it only goes into first person when you ADS. So if you're hip firing, it's still third person. Now when you're aiming down sights, maybe for those medium higher, even in third person ADS, it's going to go into first person. So those three settings for Modern Warfare 2, I highly recommend going to the link down below, and it shows my full settings. But for this, these are the three main settings that I highly recommend you guys checking out. First person ADS, the camera shaking because you're getting motion, and then obviously right here, third person field of view. Hopefully this can. Are you guys really enjoying? Clicked on this. What is your favorite mode?
Like and
Modern Warfare 2
subscribe.
multiplayer, third
I would
person,
like that
or
video. That was
Warzone
helpful.
2.0 third person.
I want to know switch shoulders. I want to see a video of that. What does that look like? Change and switch third person shoulder camera. Cool edition. Change the camera angle from left to right. Is that it? Speed Gamer from 2022.
The inspired.
Yeah, it's AAA. There's still some talented individuals who manage to create satisfying for every situation. I think it's cool. Yeah, I think that's really cool. What is this?
Unemployed. Impractical Jokers. Now streaming on
Mate.
Paramount Plus.
I need to get ad blocker. Should be signed in on my personal account because that actually has YouTube Premium, so I don't have to like watch ads.
Modern Warfare 2 2022, and in this video I just want to show how you change the shoulder. This is very important in the new third person mode. So the way that you do it is you click in your left stick.
Yeah, so it just slides from left to right. It's a lot nicer, isn't it? It's probably just a lot of meetings, man. A lot of, I mean, you know, it's that classic 80-20. There's probably like a dude that does like most of the work, and then there's a bunch of people having meetings talking about him doing the work.
very important in the new third person mode. So the way that you do it is you click in your left stick.
It looks better than mine, that's for sure. Yeah, it's also way faster. And that is just a button you can press, so I guess I've got to keep this now as a button that can just be pressed. I need to like make these export variables. It's not that bad, is it? It's like a little bit of wobbling. Yeah, no, it is really interesting. It'd be cool to be a fly on the wall for that kind of stuff. Just learn about what it's like. What it's like to work in, not necessarily even AAA, like indie as well, like what it's like to work in the game industry, I guess. That kind of stuff I think would be interesting. I don't know if, I guess people make games kind of touch on that, but it's more like very documentary style. And dramery. They're a good channel though. Okay, so how can we fix something like this? Yours works. Don't want to be perfect. Let perfection be the enemy. Yeah, that's true. It is the thief. What do they say? I don't know. Like, it works, you know? Like, whoa, what the fuck? I guess if people complained, you could just like work on it. Basically, the way to get around that would be to trying to think. You kind of like basically we're locked in because of the way that I've done the offset with the rotation. Like if we weren't going to do that, we'd need to like look at that other thing with the extra spring arm and all that kind of stuff. That would be like easier to perform. Like we'd need to raycast rather than do the spring arm on an angle. Spring arm on an angle is good because like it reduces the amount of nodes and the amount of scripting that needs to be done. Because you could like basically our only other option then is to have a raycast like we were doing last weekend or last week on the weekend, and then move it inwards based on that, and then move it like what's the word for it? Move it to the left and right was a lot easier then because you could just like shift the offset. It works a lot better. Anyway, I think this is good enough. Like I gotta remember, like I have to make content on this, so like the longer it is, like keeping it simple is better. Much better. I think I can delete that now. Current alignment, yeah, we don't even need that. And then forward in the same motion kind of resets my, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Cause like anything like that where the perspective shifts looks weird. I think like in video and consequently in 3D games, like anything where you're shifting the perspective when you don't mean to can cause like disorientation, if that makes sense. And so because we are rotating on a streamer, I sent scam and then that and then spin, and I got timed out. Well, maybe they just didn't like it. It would be fine most games. You never make a fast-paced game. I would get sick, yeah. Well, it depends how often you need to press the button, right? That's really at the end of the day. That's how it is. I don't even think, like, with the way that the current nodes are set up, there would be a way to avoid that. Like, you want to move the camera this way, but like knowing where that endpoint is going to be is kind of impossible. So I think the only other way to do it would be to make it instantaneous. And so if it was instantaneous, I think people could deal with it, but you do want to have like a little bit of motion. But yeah, the out and in is kind of gross. I agree. So I need to reset the rotation on this dude, because that's like kind of annoying me. Okay, we've got a camera. It doesn't clip into the walls anymore. Happy days. We have a state machine. I did want to add a sprint state. That was the other thing I feel like we need. Boost is cool. And then, yeah, we get... It's kind of like screen shake effect. I hate screen shake as well, too. Like, I'm with you on, like, that kind of stuff. I'm like a turn screen shake off. Head bob, don't like it. Can't stand it. As little as possible. Some like it. It makes the game look good. Hides rough areas. Some people get sick. I think the issue is like, I find it really disorientating when I'm trying to concentrate on something. Like and here's the thing. I was actually planning, I was going to make a video on this, where it was like, when you go around in real life, nothing shakes. You don't have camera shake when you're walking, right? Like, it's not a realism thing. It's that you can't feel that easily. So I do, yeah. I think for people, like, keeping that kind of stuff in mind is really important. But today we're just going to leave it and move on. I hope that people don't notice too much. Or maybe I'll not be able to live with it and change it tomorrow. Anyway, let's make a sprint state. Because I do want the state machine and the camera system to communicate. So basically my goal is for a sprint state, for the camera to move away, right? Like, but the question is, how does that look? We probably manipulate the FOV because we're kind of locked in. We don't really want to move the camera out of the spring arm, and we don't really want the spring arm to move out of the player. So we can't really move that too much. Like, I suppose we could move it back a little. But FOV probably is the better trigger to pull. Body detection. I don't know if body detection is working at the moment. Or whatever. Stick it over there. And the edge detection and the ADS point can go. I'm no longer using those. Right. Much simpler. So, sprint. Change the FOV. So it goes up. We increase the FOV when we run, right? Something like 90. So we'll say like a 15-degree increase in FOV. So I create a new state with a node. Call it sprint. Yeah, I suppose they should have capital letters, shouldn't they? If I'm going to be naming things right. That's going to ruin all of my state machine. Not really. I don't have that many states, so it's not a big deal. But as far as node naming conventions, they should all be capitalized. And then if I go to the scripts, I'm going to need to change all these to capital letters. Door, fall, in air, boost, jump. That's an action press. Don't change that. Go back to jump. Did I change it? I don't know. Idle. Run. And fall. And boost. If action is released, that needs to be lowercase. Fall. Okay, fall goes to idle, which is capitalized. Super exciting stuff here. Getting quiet. The music as well. Okay. So sprint. I forgot what I was doing for a second. Okay. Add a script. It is a state. I believe it needs to inherit ground. I think it's on ground is the class that it needs to inherit. I don't know where I saved that either. Go back. Print goes there. Okay. So it essentially is going to follow the exact same as run, right? In fact, I can copy the entire thing because the only difference is so we need a key, right? Let's sprint key. We'll add that and then we'll make it the shift key. And essentially, what I think we'll do is we'll take an input function. I think I've got one. What does it look like? I think in here? Yeah. Function state input. Sprint. So if event dot is action released sprint, right? Obviously we go back to run. I believe it's finish dot emit and then run. My state machines isn't going to work, is it? There's problems. Yeah. State map. When you create a new script, you can see the built-in button. Oh yeah, right. Like, let's just create a new script. Built-in script. Ah. Whoa. Built-in scripts have some limitations, but can't be edited in an external editor. Template defaults to base template for nodes. That is cool, though. Interesting. Thank you for pointing that out. I've literally just ignored that button the entire time. Okay, things look like they're working. Sprinting. Okay, so sprint is always a bit challenging because you're sort of in an sort of in-between state where you're kind of running but you're not really. And it can be a bit challenging to like know when to enter and exit it. So we've got, obviously when you release sprint, you go back to run, but you're sort of assuming that the direction is still valid. For this particular example, it's probably okay because they are all calculating velocity, so that's never really going to be an issue. But it is worth knowing that this kind of stuff, the most simplest scripts for a node that I can't bother creating for a folder. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like for some things that I want, like if it's a UI, like a debugging kind of thing, that makes so much sense to do it built in. So this is all fine. If we are no longer inputting, yeah, we exit to the idle state, that's fine. So that's all there. We do want to have like a sprint speed modifier. So I can go to my states, movement state, and I actually already have a sprint speed multiplier. I can't even say that word. So there's a constant that holds all these variables. The reason I do that is because it can be kind of hard to access or like edit variables for multiple scripts that all inherit from the same parent class. So I can go for the speed and I can multiply that as I pass it into calculate velocity. I can multiply that by the sprint speed multiplier, which is the movement stats dot sprint speed multiplier. And so the speed will be a little bit faster when we're in the sprint state. Now, how do we get there? When we're running, if we press shift, we transition into that. So, The other thing to remember with overriding these, we have to go return super, right? I always forget how to do this. Is it on ground? On ground is just like... hang on a second. There's no inputs in motion. Boost? Does boost have one? Fall. No? Okay. Weird. State input. I'm not doing any return supers. I forget the template. I forget the syntax. Why? Why is it doing this to me? Okay, well, there's no time like the present to remember how. What input am I missing out on though? I guess at the end of the day, that's what we're going to worry about. On ground has got the jump. We won't be able to jump if we don't call return super. So that is important to have. Oh my god. Just run. I'm so bad at this sometimes. Sprint is what I'm working on. Return super dot state input. Right? Is that how it goes? That feels wrong. Event. It seems happy with that. Okay. Radio. I need the same exact. So if you're in the run state, you can enter into the sprint state. If action button not released, but actually is pressed, sprint, and then finish to emit sprint. Return state dot input. Okay. Okay. Theoretically, that should work. I can't see it. Yeah, we're moving faster. It doesn't feel like it because the camera isn't changing, which we're going to fix in a second. Okay. So we can have a signal attached to this, right? That gets emitted when we enter into the state. So we can have a signal just called on sprinting, I guess. And in the enter function that we set up earlier, not enter tree, it is enter. We will say to emit on sprinting dot emit. Right, and on the exit function, we will say, we'll also, do we have a separate signal or do we just do the same? We'll do a separate signal, it's just easier. On sprinting and I'll say begin. Right, I'll have two separate ones, it's just easier. Yeah. And I guess the only question then is, where do we want to set the FOV change? Is it in the sprint state and it gets emitted? Or is it in the camera and we just manipulate it when the signal is emitted to that? It's really doesn't matter. Like it could go either way, right? Like in the camera, we could have like I think it's my personal preference for it to be here. So we could go like, we could create an export variable called sprint FOV, make it a float. I said 15, right? I could also just decide that it's 15 so that I just go like this, sprint increase FOV, so that we know that we're increasing the FOV by 15. Yeah, we're increasing it. And then on sprint, we can emit that on velocity updated. Hello. Where are my signals? Motion state node. It did not work. Where did I put those? I put it in run. Wrong state. We fix that up. Why do people use run and sprint instead of walk and run? That's a good question, because the speed, in my opinion, I do it because the speed at which you're moving is like more closer to a run than it is a sprint. So if you like query the speed, right? It's in meters per second. It's actually insanely fast, right? Print speed, right? So what is our speed actually? It's 4.4 meters per second. Do you know how fast that is? I think you multiply it by 3.6, right, to get kilometers per hour. 15.84. That is like, I call it run. You're already sprinting at 15.84 kilometers. I don't even think, how fast can a human move? That's insane, actually. I'm pretty sure it's 3.6 meters per second. I have to translate it to kilometers per hour because like that's the only reference. Yeah, it's 15.84. But how fast do you sprint? It's a 1.5 increase. So whatever that is, multiplied by 1.5. 4.4 multiplied by 1.5, 6.6 times 3.6 is 23 meters per second, 23 kilometers per hour. How fast can a human run in kilometers per hour? The record is 44.72. So we're not actually like in that realm, foot speed. I've actually looked at this article before because I was curious about this when I was like setting this up. So sprinting, blah, 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 blah. Bolt's average speed is 37. So obviously he's the fastest runner in the world. We can't achieve those speeds. Humans are exceptional. Yeah, we're better at long distance, but I can't believe that. 44 kilometers per hour between the 60. So he did it for 20 meters. Dude, that's so fast. Is distinct. So 23 I think is a good number. It's not 44. You could bump it up. That's like insanely fast though. Humans can't run that fast. Not for a long period of time. But I guess like, so the average person will run at 8 to 16 kilometers per hour. You know, like I think this is okay as a number. Like you wouldn't really want to go too much faster because it wouldn't feel like you were, I mean, it is a game at the end. How fast do I sprint? Yeah, I'll wait. It is a game at the end of the day, so like it really is up to the person who's making the game if they want you to move faster than that. But like, I think these numbers are okay. I could be wrong. Don't know. Okay, so we've got sprinting and sprinting begin. I used to, in my FPS one, I've got like sprint, run, and walk, I think. I've got them all. Okay, so camera. We emit on sprinting end and on sprinting begin. And we're going to need to tween again because we want this to be a smooth transition. I will want a aiming tween. I will want a sprinting sprint tween. This will work, I promise. And I'm going to create a function called Sprint. On sprint. Tween. On sprint. Begin. No. On sprint. Right. And it's going to take an FOV, which will be a float. Just imagine in my head 2 different states, walk and run, more different than run and sprint. Just think of it as sprint, but run, run faster. Yeah, I also think like visually, like in most games, I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? But like, at least in my head, like if I think about what happens, like what you see on screen is like when you press forward, a character will normally be like in a jog or like a light run. And when you press the like shift key or whatever key it is, they will like sprint. But ultimately it doesn't matter. So we've got an FOV. These actually emit an FOV, right? No, wait, I just decided it was going to be an amount. Interesting. Okay, so sprint tween. We basically want to do the same thing as like aiming. Except for the fact that we don't want to, we're not going to worry about whether or not it's true or false. I don't think. Because it's going to be controlled by something else. Okay. And then we go if sprint tween dot kill, so that it doesn't get weird. Then sprint tween dot tween property, and it's going to be FOV. Default FOV, it'll just be the one that's passed in. And the speed at which that happens, I don't know, 0.2. We'll make an export variable for that at some point as well. And basically on sprint end, we just want to go on sprint and pass in a default FOV. And on sprint begin, we want to go on sprint and then it's default FOV plus the sprint FOV increase, sprint increase FOV. So that'll take us up like this, right? That looks pretty good, except when you pump it. I want to probably make it slower. Right? Let's do it like a second. That feels better. It really doesn't matter, true. It just tend to have these thoughts in my head. What could make my code more readable for me? Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good point too. Like at the end of the day, it's all about readability. All right, awesome. Okay, like that feels better. Obviously there's a bean. We don't have like an actual running. And when you leave the state, yeah, we're going back to slow speed. So there needs to be, I think there needs to be like a sprinting jump or something like that. There needs to be some consideration for like how things work when we jump at the end of the day. Because like right now we're going to go back, excuse me, to going slow and that doesn't feel very nice. But other than that, everything seems to be working fine. Oh, the other thing we need to do is like set amount of time for the sprint. Like right now you can sprint indefinitely. We need an exit state, but we will leave that for another time because it is late and time for bed. So thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's been a little bit crazy with the spring arms this last couple of days, but we're moving on from that and we're going to continue this. We'll hopefully be done in the next couple of days. Have you tried working with the animation tree? I think I want to. I think for this one, it would pay to have animations, right? Like it would make sense to have animations if I was going to turn this into a tutorial. Actually, that's what I'm planning to do. So like having animations makes it look a lot better. It brings people in. So plus people are really interested in this. If it's a third person perspective, it needs to have like some kind of visual to go with it. So I'm considering it. And I have worked with the animation tree and animation player, and I'm not a fan, I'll tell you that much, but we'll persevere if we have to. Alrighty, guys. Ending. I will, oh wait, no, hang on. Hold up. Not that one. This one. Which one? This one. And then I minimize this, and I go, the shout out. Alright, thank you for the support for these people. Chips, Hazza, Colored Pants, Rab, Big Green, Nike, Jai, Spricky T, YGG, Skullmonger, Mr. Sparkle, and oh yeah, dude. So, those guys support me over on Patreon, YouTube members, what's this thing called? Twitch Prime, yeah, all that kind of stuff. And it's awesome that they do. Obviously, you don't have to, but it's all good. We are gonna go to ending now. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I really appreciate it. It's nice to talk through these things. Goodbye.